Hello friends, well today I'm going to discuss the fundamental four things of holy book Bhagavad Gita. Well, if anybody who interprets the Bhagavad Gita before interpreting these four principles of Bhagavad Gita, so it would be a wrong interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. Well, under the thought of Gita, Vivekananda had said that the first one is Kilevyama Sangama Partha. So Arjuna was crying at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and his body was trembling, and he was not so able to even pick up the bow, and was mourning so badly. In this situation, Lord Krishna showed no sympathy towards Arjuna, and as soon as Arjuna stopped crying and mourning, then Lord Krishna replied to Arjuna by saying that Clavium Samata. Don't talk to me like an important one. And Clavium means in Sanskrit important. So the Swami Vivekananda had said that try to understand the Gita. Gita doesn't make anybody the important one, whereas it makes the one a he-man or a real man. So this first sentence of Lord Krishna under the Bhagavad Gita, so it means it's simple that any kind of problem you face it like real man. Don't face it like an important one. You had been facing the problem, the important one, therefore you were crying. Now I call to you that face it like human or real man. So the first principle of Gita is that whenever you try to understand the shlok of Gita, then to think that whether it is making important one or not. If it is making important one, then read it from its starting. Maybe it's wrong interpretation you had understood. So read it again from its fundamental principle. Then it will be had as a correct one. And the second principle is Shruddham Hridyam Dorvalyam Dustprantita. So Swami Vivekananda ji has said under the thought of Gita that you, the young people of India, that you have the highest and the best character of the world. So therefore, what to do? And what is the biggest weakness you youth of India are facing? Shruddham Hridayam Dautvalyam. An inferiority complex had come into your mind. So Swami Vivekananda ji said to the youth of India that in the past, people used to think that whosoever doesn't have faith in God, that one is an atheist. But Shankaracharya said that no, an atheist is that one who condemns the Vedas, and he who doesn't have the faith in the Vedas, that one is an atheist. The Buddhist and Jainism from Hinduism. But Swami Vivekananda ji had said that an atheist is that one who doesn't have self confidence in himself. The one who has no self confidence in him, he won't ever succeed in his life. So, therefore, when you leave this inferiority complex, so you will stand as a conqueror, so you will rule everywhere. So, thus, Swami Vivekananda ji taught the second principle of Bhagavad Gita. Don't inculcate the lack of confidence. If any shlok of Gita generating an ambiguity in you, that it means that the interpretation of that one has been wrongly done. So add that shlok from this fundamental thing, then you will understand the correct interpretation. Well, Swami Vivekananda ji has written on self confidence so lengthy. it even can't discuss in that video. Well, from the self confidence, every man in this world has become the biggest man of the world. So Swami Vivekananda had said to the youth of India that generate the self confidence in you. Even if you want to succeed in your examination, then generate the self confidence in you that someday you would become the collector of any district. And the third principle what Swami Vivekananda gave it is that living the life of being insulted, it is much better to die. And he had said that by giving an example that if any man who is the brother of any sister or who is the father of any daughter, if his sister or daughter are messed up or raped by the rapists or loafers, so under that situation, a father or brother need to fight to those culprits being brave and never to surrender to those culprits. And in that situation, such brother or father that died, so it is much better to see that wrong incident. So Swami Vivekananda had said that learn from the martyrdom of Guru Gobind Singh and learn to be brave from him. So when such confidence and bravery come to you, then you will never ever live your life being insulted and you will live your life like a human. And the fourth principle, what Swami Vivekananda has told under his thought of Gita, that look Arjun, I'm not giving you this knowledge for the first time. I, I had given this knowledge even to Sun and then the Manu, and now I'm telling you in the short. So Swami Vivekananda, by reminding that scene, said that the one who hasn't read the comprehensive form of Gita, so Swami Vivekananda thus said that by taking these four examples, by taking these four principles of Gita, one should learn the Bhagavad Gita, one should read the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is called the biggest holy book of the world, and no other holy book is bigger than Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita has been translated into all the languages of the world, just like Bible was translated in all the languages of the world. But Bible was translated because there are so many Christian people countries, and a political reason was behind that. But why was Gita was translated? Because there is the merit in Gita, and there are many great principles in the Gita. There is such a principle in Gita which helps to escape from the problems, even though the biggest problem. It even makes too important to human. Even important becomes human by reading it. So it is called the book of human or real man. So if any nation which becomes an important one and to read this Gita, and by reading this Gita constantly, someday the nation will become the nation of the human people or real man people. So this Gita hasn't been translated by political reasons only, whereas it has been translated from the basic merit of the Bhagavad Gita. So the spread of Gita in the different countries and in the world has been done from its merits. So read and watch this Gita from the eyes of the philosophers such as Hegel, Warren Hastings, Mahatma Gandhi, Vivekananda ji, etc. Well, when the first time Gita was presented before Warren Hastings, who was the first Governor General of British India, and he was such a tyrannical and cruel Governor General. It is said about him under the history that Muslim Baron of Lucknow, who used to rule in Awadh region. So just to remind to that Muslim Baron of Lucknow that that Muslim Baron of Lucknow is under the control of Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings had ordered that all the queens of that Muslim Baron of Lucknow would roam in the public places of the Lucknow region without wearing their traditional gown or wheels. Moreover, those queens were forced to roam to that region of Lucknow half not naked almost. But as soon as Warren Hastings first time read the Gita, then he had said that British rule won't remain forever here in India. Someday it would be over. But even after getting over the British rule, the glory of Gita would remain as it was at his time. How much he had got inspired from Gita, he had said that the inspiration of Gita would always remain like that. Warren Hastings himself wrote it. When after having translated Gita reached to Germany, so the official philosopher of Germany who showed the way to all the European philosophies, as in India we call Shankaracharya the official philosopher of India, then no philosophy can be above from Shankaracharya's philosophy. Likewise, there was official philosopher in the Europe. His name was Hegel. Both the sides of Hegel, the students used to sit. Those who used to sit on the right side of Hegel, those philosophy students read or studied the metaphysics that the Brahm is concrete and it is an absolute one. And those philosophy students who used to sit on the left side of Hegel, they wanted to know that the method of conflict. Under this, any logic is given, and the other student would give his logic his in its opposite. Then there would be a conflict of those two logics, and from those conflicts, a new logic would be born, and that logic, after some days, would become an old one. Thereafter, another new logic to be given. So the readers of this methodology were the leftists, and this type of methodology great German philosopher Karl Marx had used to defeat the capitalists. So when the first time Gita was presented before Hegel, so Hegel told to the both leftists and rightists that Gita is an essence of Indian wisdom, or Gita is an extract of all kind of Indian wisdom. Gita's ethics. So the rightists who used to sit on the right side of Hegel, they adopted the ethics of Gita. Green and Hadley, Green and Bradley had adopted that. So Green thus later wrote the book Gita and Green, and Bradley too wrote the book of Gita and Bradley. And both the books are still read today, and both the books are great books. And the method of Gita, what was the method of conflict or to defeat to Satan only to do struggle. Karl Marx had adopted that. So both were inspired by Gita, leftist and rightist. And likewise, when first time Gita reached to the USA, so American philosophers, after having studied to Gita, said that Gita Gita gave them the knowledge of perfection. So they said that if you want to be a perfect one, then only to do practice, practice, and practice. And this practice is the principle of Gita, or it is a yoga too. And those Americans proclaimed that the American youth will, the American youth would challenge to the world that from needle to missile, no one would make better than the Americans. So we can apply to this thing what Americans have said. So we to say that if any shopkeeper or grocery keeper, if any one of them says that no one can sell the best quality goods than him, so we would say that that shopkeeper has read or learned the Gita from the eyes of American. So Holy Book Bhagavad Gita or Gita has reached to all countries of the world. So just like Hegel's philosophy was professed throughout in Europe, so my station in life and duty Bradley took it from Gita to describe your duty in the society. And by performing that duty, if you to get died, then you would be had the great man, or as a you would be had as a great man. So see the Gita from the eyes of American, see the Gita from the eyes of Hegel, and see the Gita from the eyes of Warren Hastings, and see the Gita from the eyes of rightists, and see the Gita from the eyes of the leftists. So from which eye we to see the Gita? So from any of these eyes, when we see the Gita, we find it as a great book. So there is no such a holy book greater than Gita. Gita is the best and Gita is the greatest holy book. And I hope you guys must watch my this lecture till the end. So good evening friends.